When it comes to building impressive arms, most people only focus on the biceps. And while that's very important, the triceps are going to make or break your arm appearance and your overall size. The triceps make up 2/3 of your total arm size. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss the 3 best strategies that you need to incorporate if you want to exponentially grow your triceps. And the first strategy that we're going to talk about is incorporating compound exercises. Compound exercises refer to an exercise that works multiple muscle groups at once, including the bench press, dips, overhead press, push-ups, and several other exercises. These types of exercises have several benefits, and when properly optimized, it brings on more muscle growth than traditional isolation exercises alone. First, let's discuss when to perform these types of exercises. Compound exercises should be performed at the start of any given workout, and there's several reasons why this is. Starting with compound exercises allow you to lift heavier weights, improves your mind-muscle connection, and provides functional integration, meaning there's practical application for these exercises. Because you're working multiple muscle groups, you'll be able to lift significantly more weight than you traditionally would if you were performing just an isolation exercise. Think about it. You may be doing 40 to 50 pounds on a tricep pushdown, but when you're performing the bench press, you're likely doing double to triple that weight. Research has shown that muscle hypertrophy is dependent on the mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress produced by the exercise. Therefore, performing compound exercises with a higher weight is going to place more stress on any given muscle and in turn lead to more muscle growth. And the other thing that I mentioned is that compound exercises improve your mind-muscle connection. This refers to consciously and deliberately focusing on creating a muscle contraction. The mind-muscle connection promotes muscle hypertrophy. A 2018 study observed that lifters focusing on the quality of the contraction found a 12.4% increase in muscle thickness as opposed to only a 7% increase when just typically performing an exercise. And now that we know these facts, it's important to not only implement compound exercises, but implement them at the start of your workout for the best results possible. Now let's jump into strategy number 2, which is variation. Now that was a very broad term, but what I'm referring to is varying the types of exercises and grips that you utilize during your training. The triceps are made up of 3 heads, and you're able to shift the emphasis of which head you target depending on the grip or exercise that you perform. For example, let's take a look at the standing tricep kickbacks. This is a great exercise that will work all 3 heads of the triceps, but there's a way that we can tweak it to bias the medial or inner head of the triceps just a little bit more. If you pronate your wrist or turn the weight so your palm is up at the conclusion of the exercise, this shifts the focus to the medial head. Making this simple change makes a huge difference, and performing variations similar to this on common tricep exercises will allow you to work all 3 heads equally. During any overhead tricep exercise, you tend to prioritize the long head, and any close grip exercises like the close grip bench press has been shown to work more the lateral and medial heads. Take this into account when you're constructing your exercise routine, and be sure to include a wide variety of different tricep exercises to make sure that you have the best results possible. And now for strategy number 3, we're going to talk about isometric holds and eccentric emphasis. Now before I explain why these 2 principles are important, we first need to discuss what they actually are. An isometric contraction refers to contracting a muscle while there is no change in muscle length. Or to put it another way, contracting the muscle without moving the weight. The eccentric phase of an exercise refers to contracting a muscle as it lengthens. So an example of this is returning to the starting position when performing cable tricep extensions. Incorporating and prolonging both of these phases increases the time under tension that any given muscle is working. And time under tension is directly related to the muscle growth that you'll see, and this makes total sense. If you're contracting a muscle longer, it will in turn lead to superior muscle growth. Current research is suggesting that time under tension for any given set should be between 20 to 70 seconds. So this is very important to keep in mind. And the other thing to consider is that time and time again, research has found that eccentric training is the most superior strategy for muscle growth. So basically, it's a win-win incorporating both an isometric hold and prolonging the eccentric phase of an exercise. Now let me give you a practical example of how you can incorporate this into your training routine to see the best results. And because I already referred to the tricep pushdowns, we might as well use it again for this example. I tend to aim for a 2-second pause at the apex of every exercise that I perform, which encompasses the isometric hold. Then I like to aim for 2 to 3 second eccentric or lengthening phase per rep. So if we're performing the tricep extensions for sets of 12 reps, and we incorporate the 2 strategies that I just mentioned, we're going to achieve about 70 seconds of time under tension, which is on the higher end of that range that I mentioned earlier. And this can be utilized on any exercise that you perform. Keep this in mind and try and integrate it, and I promise you it's going to take you so far. And optimizing this, along with the other 2 strategies that I discussed in this video, is going to accelerate your tricep growth. And if you stuck it out to this point in the video, I'm going to give you a quick bonus tip which is you need to train your triceps and your chest on the same day because they're synergistic muscle groups, meaning they work closely together for the majority of exercises. So check out this video now where I go over the 5 best exercises that you could possibly perform to grow your chest and in turn grow your triceps.